What's good, guys? Fantasy Joe back with my Week 6 wide receiver rankings. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, post all of the content to help you bring home that fantasy football championship. And if you guys have any questions or comments, all you have to do is comment them down below. Start, sit, trade advice, whatever it may be, and I will respond to every single one. So you get that fantasy hotline, that edge over your league mates with this clear, concise information delivered to you weekly with rankings, waiver wire, and buy low, sell high. But let's dive into the video. So at number 1, these are half-point PPR rankings. We've got Puka Nacua against Baltimore. He's been fantastic in a league of his own. Probably the number 1 pick if we were to redraft again, in my opinion, right now. Number 2, Amon-Ra St. Brown against Kansas City. He's been phenomenal this year. This is one that they should need him. You're definitely firing up Amon-Ra with full confidence. Jackson Smith-Njigba plays Jacksonville. JSN's been balling all year. Sam Darnold's looked really good. He is the number 1 in that offense by a good bit, so I think he's going to continue to ball for fantasy football. 4, Devontae Adams plays Baltimore. We've seen his usage in the red zone be pretty phenomenal. I expect that to continue, and it looks like he's definitely a top 12 wide receiver rest of season, probably top 10. Number 5, Emeka Egbuka, another guy that cemented himself as a wide receiver 1 for the rest of the season, in my opinion. Plays San Francisco. You're rolling him out there every single week. Chris Godwin's out there, but he hasn't. This last week, he didn't see him get the target share he got his first week back. Egbuka's the one right now. I expect him to be the most productive fantasy receiver on the Bucs the entire season. Even when these other guys return, I expect him to still get his. Jamar Chase against Green Bay. The Joe Flacco news is really good news for Jamar Chase. He should see, I don't know if I'd say more targets, but hopefully, because he'll get more pass attempts because drives will be longer, they're going to be scoring more touchdowns. And I expect Joe Flacco to hyper-target Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. So much better days, I think, ahead for fantasy for Jamar Chase. We saw him get done last week with Jake Browning even. Number 7, Rome Odunze. Plays Washington, another guy I think, in my opinion, has cemented himself as top 12 moving forward. Quentin Johnston plays Miami. Not exactly what you're hoping for this last week, but he will be fine. 9, Deebo Samuel. He plays Chicago. Good matchup for him. He could be the only guy out there, and even if he's not, he's coming off a bunch of hot games. Jaden Daniels is back, but not a great secondary for the Bears. 10, George Pickens against Carolina. I'm kind of worried this one ends up looking like the game last week where they really didn't need him, and if he didn't have that bomb touchdown against Sauce, he would have not got there for fantasy, but he did do that. He made the plays. He's a big-time player, and I do think that I'm really hoping that these weeks for George Pickens, where he's been the one, is earning him the trust of Dak Prescott, so that way when CD comes back in probably another week or two, he can continue to be, not the same level of fantasy, but still a big-time producer and a top 20 every week wide receiver. 11, we got Drake London against Buffalo. I expect Drake London to be very good for fantasy football this season. My expectations have not really changed much for him from the beginning of the season. But we'll see how Michael Penix does against this Buffalo Bills defense overall. 12, Jalen Waddle plays the Chargers. I expect him to get good target volume every week moving forward. Probably profiles is close to a top 15 to 18 wide receiver, probably somewhere in that range for me moving forward. 13, Teroa McMillan plays Dallas. Great matchup for him. Should get a lot of target volume in that one. 14, Xavier Worthy plays Detroit. Another guy who's been getting the ball a lot. This will probably be the last week of him getting hyper volume before Rashee Rice returns. I expect him to fall into that role and get 8, 9, 10 targets a game. 15, Cortland Sutton plays the Jets. Like I said, we've seen Egbuka go up against Sauce. We've seen George Pickens catch that long touchdown. We've seen a lot of guys get there in different ways. Cortland Sutton's a very good wide receiver. I'm still playing him as top 15 play. 16, Keenan Allen plays Miami. They're going to need him. I think they might pass even more. Honestly, we'll see. Maybe they do try to run to protect Justin Herbert and their offensive line, the situation they're in right now, because they're down some offensive linemen. They can't really protect. They can't really run the ball. But you got to choose one, so we will see what they do. But could potentially be a boost for the passing game and the quick passing game that Keenan Allen usually takes advantage of. 17, Garrett Wilson. He'd be a lot higher if he wasn't playing Denver this week. He'd probably be close to a top 10 play. But just a tough matchup with Patrick Surtain. I still think he can get there. He's a really talented wide receiver. Surtain struggles a little bit this year in some matchups. So I'm still definitely starting Garrett Wilson if I've got him. And rest of the season, I think he profiles more as a wide receiver 1. Brian Thomas Jr., he plays Seattle. We've seen their secondary when healthy give wide receivers some trouble. And 80 yards for him this last week, though, is definitely a sign of improvement. 19, A.J. Brown plays the Giants. I don't know if they're going to need him a ton this one. It's kind of tough to project what his usage is going to be like because it's so dependent on the Eagles game script, and they are so unique. But I still think he will be a good player for fantasy football, but I do think you need to adjust your expectations from where you drafted him as a top 12 wide receiver, top 10 type of guy. 20, Zay Flowers plays the Rams. Should get target volume. Snoop Huntley is probably the starter in that one. 21, Lad McConkey against Miami. And again, he should be able to excel in that short area part of the field, and he's explosive, good route runner. 22, Chris Olave against New England. Target volume has been awesome for him. Stephon Diggs, we saw him get right this last week. He should maybe even be higher, moving up this list even more. But he profiles really well rest of season, looking like an absolute 1 on the Patriots right now. And Drake May is definitely taking that level up, or at least it looks like it so far. Marvin Harrison Jr. plays Indy. They'll need him in that one. Indy's looked good this year. DK Metcalf against Cleveland. Tough matchup for him. 26, Ricky Pearsall. This is assuming health, but if he's back, I am playing him for sure. We've seen this passing attack be good even without him, without Jawan Jennings, without Brock Purdy. You add in Ricky Pearsall, a talented pass catcher. Definitely want to play him. 27, Michael Pittman Jr. plays Arizona. Good matchup for him. We've seen him get target volume with Daniel Jones in there. It hasn't been, most productive fantasy days, but he's still a solid wide receiver play every week. Jacoby Myers has been disappointing, but he does play Tennessee this week. Their offense just in general has been really poor. Geno's played badly. And, yeah, just the offensive line, everything. Jawan Jennings, same situation as Ricky Pearsall. If he's playing, I'm probably going to throw him out there in that one against Tampa. I think they're going to need him. The passing attack has looked good no matter who's at the helm. 30, Chris Godwin plays San Francisco. We talked about the target volume. We'll see if he can continue to get it and if he can turn the target volume into something productive for fantasy football. That has yet to be seen, but he is recovering from that injury. Alrighty, if you guys have made it to this point in the video, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. I'll respond as always. This has been Fantasy Joe. Thank you guys so much for watching.